Disclaimer.
History is not safe for work, and neither is HistoricHole.
This podcast is uncensored and contains explicit language.
Welcome to HistoricHole. My name is David, and as always, I am joined by Jason and Michael.
Hello.
Hello. And we here at Hello Hole. No, I'm just kidding. It's HistoricHole, and we'll take a funny look at history sometimes. Sometimes it's sad. But usually we make fun of it. Sometimes people, sometimes events, sometimes just things, stories that people wrote down. And today,
It's a person.
That's what history is, are things that people wrote.
Shush!
Well, or monuments that they left.
Yeah, see?
In a way that is writing.
He wrote with a chisel.
Exactly.
Today we'll be discussing Caligula, the third Roman emperor.
A fine man.
No, he wasn't.
A man of class and dignity.
Yeah, usually by the time we get
It's
to the third-
opposite day.
It is.
Class and dignity.
The day after Valentine's Day is usually opposite day. All those things I said to you last night to get laid, I didn't mean.
I take it all back.
Hey, as a matter of fact, give me those roses back. I'm going to give them back.
I'll tell you who wasn't alone, though, was Caligula.
No, not at all.
Every
Surrounded
day was
himself with people.
Valentine's.
Every day was Valentine's Day.
The massacre.
He was born August 31st, 12 AD. Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus is his full name.
Gaius Germanicus.
His official name. Caligula is actually a nickname that he gets here in a little while.
Pretty sweet nickname.
So is that
No, it's not actually.
Well,
After you hear the
it sounds cool. That's all I
Origin.
care about. I mean, who cares what the origin?
translation, that's the word I'm looking for. What? Anywho, so his father was Germanicus, a famous Roman general at the time. And his mother was Agrippina the Elder, the granddaughter of the current emperor, Augustus.
She was the elder, the granddaughter.
Because she has a daughter who she names after her. So, that one's the younger.
So that's the line.
Yeah.
Not the whole yet. This is the line.
Historic line.
Yeah, it's our other show. We're going to start. How do we get here? We're going to find a line.
We got Hole and Historical Line. Those are on the list. Coming soon, folks.
He had two brothers, Nero and Drusus, three sisters, Agrippina, which I just said, the younger, Drusilla and Livilia.
Drusilla.
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 Oh, like Godzilla. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now you get it.
Yeah, no, it just hit me.
She was a nuclear creature.
So because Dad was a famous general, he grew up in military camps. So as a child, his mother would dress him up in a little uniform and let him parade around the army camp. And
Off with their heads. Slice.
and all the soldiers thought it was, very cute.
Of course.
And gave him the name Caligula, which means little boot, after the tiny shoes he wore in his outfit. See, Caligula, not a good name. He actually hated
Still
it.
sounds cool.
Yeah, I know, right? That's one of those names that sounds way cooler than the origin.
Right, the literal translation. But what comes to your mind is just orgies of death.
Yeah. So I'm like,
But it's a
who ended up
fucking
winning?
shoe.
A child's boot.
Yeah, so he kind of changed it. So
Yeah.
Emperor Little Boot. An orgy of violence.
And, I wouldn't like that either. Like, that doesn't...
Well, no one would. It's
Yeah,
like
that's so random.
Little Boot. Stab. It's like, God, stop calling me that. And they're all laughing. Biggest, thickest. One of those things.
Did you go to that orgy over at Little Boot's place last night? Like, I mean, people are going to be like...
It's like, no, not Little Boot. I was a Big Boot.
So at
I'll
the
tell you what's not little.
I was at full pair of shoes.
at the time of his birth, there was a little crisis going on in the empire because Augustus had no heir at the time.
Oh, wait.
He had two nephews that were, on the docket to be emperor, but they ended up dying. So there was a general
There's
named
lots of that back in the day.
Yeah, it's like, take them off.
That's why they had to have a list.
Yeah, the chalk guy is busy all the time.
That's the one guy's job. Is like halfway through writing the crazy name, like, God damn it, paint this over.
Oh yeah, too, because you had to chisel it too.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, God.
He's just like, that's a tablet. Everyone dies. Just smashes
You
it.
to like build the building again. Like, let me just get this rock.
Just give me a new one. We're just doing it over.
Fetch me more stone from the mountain that takes a month.
So there was
There was no asking.
a general that was in the running, but everyone fucking hated him. But he was like the
I
only.
get results. That's why I'm in the running.
But he was the only like viable option. So to make his pick
General Biden. I'm just kidding.
to make his pick more appealing to the people, he had to adopt Germanicus so that, when he became emperor, everyone would be relieved because everyone liked Germanicus,
they, like,
that he
around the
would be
same
next in
age?
line.
Are they like around the same age?
No, he's much older.
Okay.
Tiberius is much older.
That would have been funny.
He fought in like the Civil War.
Well, it looks like I gotta adopt you. Germanicus.
Yeah, there's a lot of adoptions. Like the whole line. You thought it was, you think it's hereditary, but it's just
Squiggly, chiseled line.
it's just people adopting generals and shit to become the next emperor
Yeah, it works.
most of the time.
It's because your loins wouldn't produce a strong heir, or it would just die. Like in childbirth, like people want to do back and then.
Right.
There's lots of dying. Some people would probably just like, fuck this, I'm out. Just
Yeah,
didn't even
there's-
want to be alive.
There's a lot of dying throughout history. As a matter of fact, everyone throughout history is dead.
Yeah, in
at this
fact,
point.
Yeah,
If you think about it,
really.
including yourself.
Tiberius eventually went along with it and adopted Germanicus, and everything's going good. And then Augustus dies. Tiberius becomes emperor.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is he ships Germanicus off to Syria because he sees him as a threat.
I love you.
Yeah.
So the whole
Adopted
family.
son.
So the whole family goes to Syria.
Germanicus takes Syria.
Now Caligula is 7 years old when his dad is poisoned. Many believe that
By
Tiberius.
Caligula.
Well, Tiberius did it.
Oh.
That Tiberius did it.
Makes sense.
So
At the behest of Caligula.
so
Little boot.
mom gets all the kids.
Little finger, little boot. What do you think's going on?
Right. Mom gets all the kids, takes them back to Rome, and Tiberius is just like, well, guess what? You still have two older sons, so I'm going to exile one.
Son of a bitch.
The oldest and mom get exiled.
It's like you wish I wasn't even born.
I think it was Nero and Agrippina the elder go off to some island where eventually
There were so many islands back in history, it seems like, that people could find to exile people. It was hard to find things, I thought.
apparently not.
They had maps.
Yeah. With little dragons
All these
on
people kept escaping from the islands. So were they really islands, or was like the tide just low when they sent these people there?
Or is exiling people on islands somewhat overrated task?
Because
Because the prevalence of boats in history,
Yeah.
gotta say,
So Nero ends up starving to death, and mom kills herself.
After trying to eat Nero.
So
happy.
Caligula ends up.
Happily ever after, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking
Romeo and Juliet, what have you.
So Caligula and his sisters just go start living with their grandmother.
Because we're going to live over here.
Paternal and maternal are both alive, so they just keep going back and forth between them.
Seeing that system's just
That's
been
like
going
having
on
two
forever.
Christmases when your parents get divorced. It's great, but really sad. We're going to our other grandmother.
And eventually his other brother, Drusus, was imprisoned, where he also starves to death.
Other brother.
So now it's just him and his sisters. And there are rumors that it's around this time that him and Drusilla start getting a little close.
Caligula and his 3 sisters. Great movie by Woody Allen.
Now, Tiberius being emperor, wasn't in Rome, though. He had been on this little island, Capri.
Sending carrier pigeons.
Yeah, just having a grand old time on his island while Rome just fucked off and just followed his orders.
Frolicking in the Capri Sun.
When Caligula was 17, he received an invitation from Tiberius to come join him on his island.
The letter fell, and then bird shit. It's from Tiberius. I can smell that pigeon anywhere.
Which left Caligula feeling a little apprehensive, seeing as the man has thus far murdered most of his family. Well, Mom killed herself.
Some mob shit.
True.
We're going to have a party for you. Just come on in, man.
This kind of sus.
Yeah, right? So he gets to Capri, and Tiberius doesn't have any heir, so he's like, well, maybe you. And they just start hanging out.
Maybe you.
And Caligula just sort of stands off in the background and just watches as Tiberius has fantastic feasts, orgies left and right. There are murals.
Left and
Opulent orgies, fantastic feasts.
right. Orgies to the left of me. Orgies to the right. Here I am. All right.
There are murals of pornographic.
There's orgies everywhere.
Murals everywhere depicting porn.
Orgies.
Yep. You nailed it.
It's pretty on brand. You know what I'm saying?
And, everything's.
Skewering a boar.
There are.
They fucked it.
In more ways than one.
And now there's too much fun going on, but there are also children. Little boys and girls running around the island. And Tiberius,
And they'll raise themselves.
whenever he felt like it, would just pick one up and have his way with it. And then.
Oh.
Different time, folks.
Like Cabbage Patch Kids. Wait, what?
This is like Lord of the Flies.
And when he was done with
Except
it.
with adults. That's not good.
And when he was done with them, he would toss them off the cliff. 1,000-foot drop.
Ooh. Did they measure it?
I did.
No. Oh, yeah. That's a new feature we started here at HistoricHole, where we go to the places we talk about and we find out the real facts. we were going to sacrifice somebody.
And Caligula is there for 6 years, just hanging out with him. And
Tossing kids.
I don't think he went.
Having feasts.
It's a living.
Yeah. At one point, Tiberius is like, you know what? Why don't you host your own orgy?
You know what, man?
Puts his arm around him. It's like, it's time, son, that you graduate. It is your time to plan an orgy.
Like, if they're in the middle of an orgy, it's just like, you know what? You see that place over there? It's like, I see not a lot of people fornicating. Like, just a mass of bodies. That could be your rock. That could be your orgy.
The 3 keys to a great orgy.
Or boars that are skewered. Paintings on the wall of what's happening. You have to get really fast painters. Make sure. I'll teach you where to get the best painters to paint them orgies.
Now there can be no shortage of oil. Holy oil. It doesn't matter where you get it from. Just get it.
You know what? Like, don't only worry about Sundays, about that church.
I guess
oil.
Jesus wasn't a thing yet.
No. He was a thing because he died already.
Technically, it was the thing.
Yeah. I just like
He wasn't a big thing.
Oh no, he was there.
Just wasn't a big thing yet.
In spirit.
the Jesus brand hadn't exploded yet.
Yeah.
He was about to. There was a guy that looked like Jesus.
Small
there.
grassroots movement, grassroots Christians movement here.
During his time on the island, though, Caligula befriended the head of the Praetorian Guard. They were like
Of course, was there.
the King's Guard,
Yeah.
I should be protecting something.
A guy named Macro.
Duh.
Macro.
Macro.
Macro. Of course, it was like his real name was Micro. He changed his name to Macro.
So they start getting buddy-buddy. And over the years, Caligula's, it said that he would just sneak into Tiberius's room while he was sleeping and just hold a dagger to his throat and be like, should I do it tonight?
Man, he must have been a good sleeper.
Yeah, and then scurries away.
It's just
Scurries away.
deep sleep. Always getting up every morning. He's just like, man, got a great sleep last night.
Yeah, there wasn't like traffic noises or anything back then. Like you would think somebody walking
in the morning.
Felt like I was dead.
Yeah, he had like the first like crazy like handlebar mustache. Just like I haven't been shaving, but just like the bottom of my beard just keeps disappearing every
The gods will it.
It's like I could have sworn, but
But in
who am I to argue with Zeus?
Jupiter.
Jupiter.
But in 37 AD, he died in his sleep.
No.
He put a pillow to his head.
Oh, that's what he did.
Yeah,
So,
it was either him or Macro.
So it was like the Joker.
so natural causes.
Yeah, natural causes. Yeah. Now, while he was having all this fun on the island, Tiberius, his laws in Rome weren't that popular. He was having treason trials randomly, just picking people's name out of a hat and just confiscating their lands,
Treason.
What the fuck?
just murdering people left and right. So when everyone heard that he died, everyone was like, "Yay!"
Orgies.
And because Caligula got in good with the Praetorian Guard, who will have a history of propping up the next emperor, they proclaimed him emperor, and Rome was like, "Don't care who it is, it's not Tiberius." So fuck yeah.
They're like just mid fucking. They're just like whatever. It's him. Sure.
So March 28th of
Babies being thrown off cliffs.
March 24th of the year 38.
It's party like it's 30.
Caligula arrives in Rome to
Like
cheers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Purple Rain era Prince Caligula comes down.
Now, he had already gotten in good with the military because the Praetorian Guard suggested him giving everyone a little bit of raise. So he doubled their pensions and shit.
It's paying him off.
Yeah. So next was the Senate, and all he had to do there was just retract all the treason shit. And they were like, "All right, we're cool now."
And now we all fuck.
So Tiberius, yeah, he was just like fucking with his opponents just by claiming that they were being treasonous. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So
I mean, might as well.
with the everyday plebs, they loved him.
Just plebe it around.
When he came in, over 160,000 animals were slaughtered to honor him, and
You wonder where the dodos went.
and pray to the gods that
What's something that's about to be extinct?
Pray to the gods he doesn't start accusing everyone of treason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, no treason, more orgy.
And
With this new spray bottle, you can get the treason out and add some more orgy.
Yeah, see, that's the balance of every leader in history.
It's like getting that
Treason, orgy.
synthetic. It's like getting that synthetic oil.
so when he
orgy.
inherited the treasury, it had about 2.7 billion sesterci, which was their currency.
It was $1.
Which makes sense because Tiberius was just taking everyone's money as he confiscated their lands. Well, he started taking buckets of coins, stood on this like 3-story building, and just started raining them down on the peasants.
Just give me the coins.
It was a 60-foot, drop.
And the
So
strip
some of the coins like were hurting people.
Terminal velocity coins. They're like getting bows and arrows. Except short arrows. They're just
Slings.
coins.
Yeah, like winding up.
You get a coin.
So then
You get a coin.
people were getting trampled, because other people were like, "Oh, money."
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it was a little bit of madhouse.
So it didn't quite go the way he wanted.
We know if we
Well,
having sex
they
or
loved
killing.
him, so yeah, it kind of did.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the way he would want it.
I mean, I would go to the money
he wanted
orgy.
people to get trampled. And that's why he wanted the people to love him. It's just like, that's not a good way.
Well.
If everyone's getting killed.
He probably didn't care.
He probably didn't care.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't really.
Yeah,
He probably found
didn't.
great joy out of it.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
that's kind of
That's
funny.
true.
That's kind of funny. Look at him.
Yeah, no, there was
Look at
no
them
good parts. He was like, I
killing
want them to
himself.
love me. Not, I'm like, he didn't probably give one fuck about the actual, like, I'm going to give
Well,
you
I
money
just,
and help you.
on the surface, him just like giving money out just kind of sounds like he's trying to be charitable, and then people end up dying. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like
Like I said, there's the one scene. It's like, oh yeah, money, and then you show down there. It's like people on the ground, like getting their stepped on. Like, you have like blood and mud. Kids get thrown off.
He's up
stuff.
on the top, just like a man of the people. Just they love me. Look,
And then whoever was left just got
just
fucked.
screams and like people shouting, children crying,
I lost my father that day.
dogs barking,
Llamas.
cats hissing.
For the first 6 months of his reign, everything was good.
Elephants going.
Everyone was happy. And then he got sick and ended up bedridden for a couple weeks. Thought he was going to die. And everyone else thought he was going to die. And the empire was like,
This is it.
we just got a new emperor and he's going to be taken away from us. Senators were weeping in the Senate, saying that they would gladly trade their lives if he will be okay.
If only baby Boot. Little Boot must live.
But other people started thinking about the succession.
Yeah, someone somewhere is like, well,
And
What about all this power?
yeah.
Macro, being the head of the Praetorian Guard, he already had some ideas about this kid named Gemellus,
And I'm ideas, man.
which was a nephew of Tiberius,
Such a nephew.
or a son. He was related to Tiberius in some way.
He started drawing lines.
So he starts parading Gemellus around, meeting everyone. Like, guess what, guys? This is going to be the next one. But then Caligula recovers.
He kicks down the door with his sandal.
What's all
I'm
this?
back.
What's all this? I don't like any of it. Has Gemellus...
Excuse me.
Gemellus gets imprisoned, where he is forced to commit suicide.
Is that really suicide? If you're forced to commit it?
Well, I guess if they make you like do it yourself.
No. It's not suicide. Suicide
I mean, how was he
implies that
killed?
you-
Like forced to commit suicide? Did they like make him just like
Stab
himself?
If you don't do it, we're going to.
And what was sad was,
Or they just killed him and then he did it himself.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Well,
we
no.
call that the Epstein.
what was sad was he was 14 years old, and he didn't know how to use a sword.
Yeah.
So we
I
actually
didn't realize he was that young. I'm thinking of this big burly man. Everyone in Greek or Roman history or just any time back then, I imagine, just looks like King Lear. It's like even the women.
Gemellus. It's like, oh shit, who's this guy?
nope.
He's a 14-year-old who was forced to kill himself.
doesn't know how to use a sword, so he has to ask the men who were sent to make him kill himself.
I mean,
how
well,
to
so he's
kill himself.
stupid because I'm like, you know,
Pointy end.
yeah. How do I kill myself with this? You know, I would have.
Well, so that it doesn't hurt, or there's no suffering.
Well, well, I guess if you kind of balance it on this rock and you fall correctly, it'll go straight through your But I don't know.
If we throw you off this cliff, there'll be no suffering. I swear to God. I don't know why they're British all this time.
Every episode.
As we've established, you know, we're the only people that have been throughout time. Everyone was British, or at least sounded British.
Now Gemellus is dead. The next person to die is Macro, but he's the head of the Praetorian Guard. Kind of can't just kill him, or else they'll come after you.
He's a made man.
Exactly.
So what he does is he promotes him
To more made.
to a general,
Oh.
and then arrests him for treason, and then makes him kill himself.
See, some leaders didn't do the whole make them kill them. They just killed people. But see, Caligula has a thing here. Clearly, there's a trend.
Well, yeah, what if you say no?
They kill you and say you killed yourself. Is what it was. True.
Yes. The senators who had prayed for, he heard about the senators who had prayed for his life, and he brought them into his room at the palace. He's like,
You're allowed to have an orgy here.
I heard about your well wishes for me. I thank you greatly. So when is it going to happen? And they're like, what?
And Jupiter eyeing down, like they're all like looking over each other's shoulders.
You said that you would give your life if I recovered, and I recovered. So when are you going to give your life? And made all of them commit suicide. Like 40 plus people.
I think someone would be like, well, I
Jupiter was like, okay, I only said one. I only needed
come
one.
on.
Caligula, what are you doing?
give you an orgy and you take a murder.
So now he pretty much has put everyone in their place. Absolute power.
Yeah, in the grave.
25 years old. And while he's fucking around with the Senate, he still wants to keep the people happy. So he is throwing festivals nonstop.
Caligula Fest.
Rome
Yeah,
is-
ignore this. Like, please, I don't want to kill
38.
myself. Ignore this. Here, some more change.
See where Tiberius kept his parties on that small island, and Rome sort of just was,
Party Island.
a terrible place to be. The parties, he brought the party to Rome.
The parties. He brought the party. Yeah, Caligula was the party.
Yeah.
That's what
They
he was.
picked up the island, they dragged it.
Gladiators going nonstop, games, animals. Oh, crazy to watch.
Father to a murdered orgy.
That's the over. We hit the over. Oh, shit. Jason and I talked about the over-under on the time that Michael would make a gladiator reference this episode.
Look at that,
And
over. Look at that.
We
Look
hit
at
the
that.
over, folks. Jason set the line at 17 minutes.
Yeah, I did.
Look at that. Look at that. So that means...
So anyone who had money on that shit,
That we didn't tell you. We'll tweet you next time.
I bet on the under. So you know
God
what?
forbid I referenced the movie Gladiator after he's like, and then he brings up gladiators. Oh, he mentioned... So I think he mentioned it first.
No, I mentioned actual.
I said father to a murdered orgy. What line? Tell me what part of the movie does he say that? Exactly.
We know what you were doing.
No, nothing.
It was only the reference. We only needed the reference.
Yep, that's all.
And I will have my orgy. Since we've opened the...
And he starts.
Give me an orgy!
He starts.
Give me an orgy!
He starts making the fights a little more exciting because.
Are you not having an orgy?
Are you not coming everywhere?
He would only allow one person to have a weapon. Like one guy would have a spear, and the other guy was only allowed a net or something.
Like a donkey head.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of blood being spilled in the arena. He was a big horseman. Like he loved betting on horses.
Betting man.
Yeah,
He left all forms of debauchery.
right. He had lavish banquets where they dined on flamingo tongue, camel heels, and roasted ostrich.
It's like none of this is good, but we're doing it.
Delicacies from the world over. So what's funny is that I do hear about. I see these articles all the time that are saying it's just like Americans have access to the amount of food that like kings and Roman generals would have. You know, all this stuff like talking about how we have it so good.
I don't got flamingo tongues.
I've never seen.
I've been to
flamingo-
Lidl's. Yo, I went to Wegmans and even asked them. I was like,
Where are your camel heels?
Do you have otter tails?
Even called the Publix. They're from
Like,
Florida.
this is public.
They're from Florida. They should have flamingo.
I was like, where's my polar bear meat?
Also, Caligula had a lot of fun embarrassing people. So he would have
How
banquets,
could the flamingos talk? Sorry.
and he would invite senators over with their wives, and
That would be like the most. That would be the most scary invitation to ever get. It's like, oh, we got a new letter.
The murderous emperor
Glacier,
has
yeah.
invited us to his abode.
So either you're going to get railed by many men, and I as well, or he's going to kill us and feed you to the otters.
So we're either going to get killed, raped, or both.
Or we might get a good meal.
well, he would be.
At least we'll be well fed.
Yeah, he would be. He was quite a glutton. But if he
In more ways than one.
if he saw a lady that he liked, married or not, he would just sneak away to
He'd
his
just
room.
walk up to him and grab
That'd be
him
funny
by
if
the
that's
pussy.
where Caligula drew the line. It's like, oh, is she married? I'm sorry. I'm not that kind of guy. Throw another baby off the cliff.
Take her back to his room, have his way with her, and then come back out,
A room in the continent.
and then start, talking to the husband. Not bad. She's got some spunk in her.
Of course, you phrase it like that. They'd be like, come up and be like, she bangs like a barn door.
He's got some spunk in her, all right. It's mine. I'm Caligula. What are you going to do? No respect.
But he also liked horse racing so much he decided to build his own
He's trying to marry horse
horse track, and he wanted
in
to
his bedroom.
he wanted to have the tallest structure in the center of his horse track, so he imported an obelisk from Egypt.
Just do that.
Yep, brought
That time,
had-
we don't care anymore.
actually had to build a boat to transport it
Yeah.
back. And now that obelisk still
Creating
stands
jobs.
in front of St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah, he had to enslave a bunch of new people, just creating jobs, you know, and just be like, here, guys, we're moving this
We're not saying you get
obelisk.
paid for these jobs.
Get to come from Egypt to Rome.
You get to go over there. Where is Rome?
So he's throwing parties all the time, having
See this obelisk
flamingo
icon?
tongues left and right. But the treasury is starting to deplete. And
There's like one gold bar.
Sir, you've spent all the money on flamingo tongue and orgies.
And camel toes. I mean, camel whatever.
heels.
And camel toes. We know, for real though.
There was a rumor that
Heels.
to sort of pay for stuff, he did prostitute some of his family members and senators' wives.
He starts going up the line like, who's my favorite?
Who's my bottom bitch?
Drusilla,
I talked to you twice. Oh,
his sister. His sister was. Because,
Drusilla?
yeah,
Gisela.
Drusilla. Because after he became emperor, he's just like,
I
fuck.
thought it was juice Scylla, like
no.
orange juice. I heard you say that earlier.
It's like if Godzilla was made of orange juice instead of nuclear energy.
It's like O.J. Simpson.
So after he became emperor, he put the rumors to bed about him banging his sister. He's just like, yeah, I've been doing it all along, and married her.
Joke's on you.
And ended up marrying her.
He just leans into it. It's just like everyone's like, whoa.
Well, duh.
I guess the Romans are like,
doing it all along.
We know, though. Like, it wasn't.
these like fucking peasants that are like fucking sheep are like disgusting.
But a year later,
No.
in 39 AD, she ends up getting a fever and passing away. And he is grief-stricken.
The fever of 39.
Makes a law that she is to be worshipped as a goddess,
New law.
that's some simp shit.
Oh, now it's some simp shit.
After her death, yeah.
Now it's simp time after all the cucking that's been going on throughout the Caligula.
No, simping and cocking are not the same thing.
I know. It's like, no, it's not.
Don't king shame. Well, king shaming is my king. All right.
So what if I want to throw a baby off the top of a cliff?
It's my kink.
And so
Got any flamingos?
they're out of money.
Gets me hot, baby.
The senators are starting to be like, maybe we should start thinking about someone else.
What have these senators been doing the whole time? They're just like, we're so tired of having sex. We need to get a new guy. The roads are getting potholes.
We need rest.
Running out of money and flamingos.
So a general actually was involved in a conspiracy to kill him.
Well, I've been trained to do this.
So Caligula killed him first, but it was sort of a
Calling ambulance.
catch-22 because now
me.
one of his best generals on the Western Front with the German tribes is dead, and he's not sure of the loyalty
Yeah.
of all those troops. So he leaves Rome and goes to be the commander-in-chief.
We all know Germans. Who knows? There could have been other orgies. It's like, oh, their orgies are better than your orgies. It's dramatic. Scat orgies going on.
So he heads up.
This podcast is not for children.
The whispers of the German.
You can hear the whispers.
Whispering eye.
So he
Blinking at me.
he heads to the Rhine River, expands the empire a little bit, thinks about invading Britain, decides not to, starts going,
We needed that detail.
heads back to Rome. Well, the next emperor does. Heads back to Rome,
Do we care about him?
but sort of
do we?
bypasses it and heads to Naples, where he decides to build 2
To nipples.
football-long pleasure barges in Lake Nemi.
Football field long?
Yeah,
Yeah, football long wouldn't be that long.
football field long, 2 of them. One he had a little temple to Diana on it, and another one was just a fuck fest. Just banquets, orgies all the time, and they just sailed around.
I wonder if like he was ever hitting people up and people were like, bro, like I have a family and like shit to do. I have a job. Like relax. I'll be there next weekend, bro. I can't do it 24/7. I'm sure there's got to be because like
We'll still be here.
Who was running things? Like if everyone was having
Well, seriously, yeah. Like, that's
everyone
what I
in
was
the
saying
government
earlier.
was having orgies.
What
all
are the
the time.
senators doing? Yeah.
See, now everybody, you got to listen to this.
This is what they're
because-
doing now.
Yeah. Like you think this is what they did then when people didn't have like social media to figure out.
Yeah.
Imagine what they're doing now with the technology.
You think they don't know we're watching? You know the fuckfests that are going on in there? That's why everyone's like, oh my God, they stormed the Capitol, blah, blah. I'm like, no, they actually were scared because they were going to find the orgy that was going on at a particular moment.
Yeah, and people, there was an
Why do you think there was no security guards there? They all were fucking each other.
That's what happens. They abdicate their responsibilities to the orgy.
Anyway, he had his time. He had
Anyway.
a good time on the boats. Decides to go back to Rome, where he finds everyone who conspired against him and just starts killing people.
They were all having an orgy themselves, and he walks in. He's like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, it's like, is this the orgy of everyone that has completely conspired against me? Pour lava on this building.
in addition to trying to kill him and conspire against him to get him out of office.
And
Office. Back in the office of the emperor.
so
The Oval Orgy.
to help with the finance problem, he reinstituted the treason trials that
We're bringing it back.
These were popular.
This is the comeback tour.
and just starts. But
treason.
whereas Tiberius was imprisoning people and confiscating their land, Caligula just decided, well, let's just kill them. And
Yeah,
take
because
their
then
land.
we could take the land.
Why even have a trial?
At one point, one of his aides came up to him and was like, oh man, this senator you just killed, he actually had no money. And Caligula was like, what a waste. He died for nothing. I just wanted his money and had nothing. In the year 40, he decided
We're getting somewhere.
that he was going to move the capital to Alexandria in Egypt
We're moving the capital.
and rule as a pharaoh down there and be worshipped as a god.
You know what? I'm tired of being an emperor. It's Pharaoh time.
Well, the boats, the pleasure barges were actually built in the sort of boat design of Egyptian sort of shit that
It's a man of
sailed up-
culture.
Yes, sailed up the canals carrying the pharaohs around.
he had a flair about him.
He had a taste for boat construction and orgies, a real fine taste.
It's like
Right, he was-
they were debaucherous, but like don't get me wrong. It's like they were well run orgies.
He was a man of the arts. He loved musicals. He would actually, in the middle of plays, he would just jump on stage and just start performing all
I'm
the
not
parts
surprised
himself.
that a man who loves musicals also loves orgies. Let's not say that like it's a strange thing. I, however, love musicals.
He would dress up as a woman and just walk around town and be like, hey, stop me.
Caligula takes Alexandria.
At that point,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
the senators are like,
Orgy him to death?
the senators are like, well, this is a stupid idea. We can't let him do this. We need to actually do something now. And
It's
in,
just changing capitals.
in 41,
The moon. The next generation of orgies. And thus we have Neil Armstrong.
in January 22nd of the year 41, a man named Cassius found Caligula outside of the palace talking to some minstrels about a play that they were performing. And
This is the part when the orgy happens.
then he just stabbed him. And then two other conspirators came out from behind him and they just stabbed him 30 times, just like Julius Caesar, who he was named after.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How
Also,
many did you do it? Let's say it was 30.
and also Caesar was, or Julius Caesar was stabbed by a man named Cassius too.
Yep.
I know.
Well, I mean, he was stabbed by a bunch of people. I'm sure. There's only so many Roman names.
There was Cassius, and then of course there
Gaius.
was Jorge, and then of course there was
Brutus,
George, and then there was
The after he was
Lee Harvey
murdered,
Oswald.
after he was murdered, they sort of murdered some of his close associates,
Saddam Hussein was there.
Osama.
and then put his uncle on the throne. Claudius becomes the next emperor, and there ends that. But they didn't like Caligula
There is that.
so much that they started just destroying everything that he was involved in, like any literature that talked about him. Just tried to erase him from history. The two pleasure boats, they sunk them.
Well, people were just fucking.
And it went down with the orgy still going.
The orgy went down.
They found the boats in 1930,
All these skeletons stuck together.
And coital postures.
We don't even understand how these bones got where they were.
Because
There's horse bones in the middle of them. Goats.
Yeah, Mussolini asked them to
Of course it was Mussolini.
drain this lake, and they found these 2 giant-ass boats.
He drained the lake so he could drain his snake.
But then the area they were in got bombed, so the boats got destroyed.
Oh,
They made it to 1930.
oh my, preserved through the generations underwater. And then fucking the war.
And the fucking Nazis killed him. God damn it.
Yeah, World War II got them. Yeah.
World War II got a lot of stuff.
Some pieces
Don't forget it.
remain in
It
some.
was a big one.
Some pieces of it do remain in some museum somewhere.
You could still steal.
It's like a piece of wood. It's like a small piece of wood.
You can still smell the
like-
orgy.
Yeah, exactly. You can still smell
There's a little stain on
the
it.
carnal energy coming off this piece of wood. You can still see the thumbprints of some goats. Unfortunately, Mussolini bombed.
There's just like, yeah, all the edges are burned. like-
Imagine, like, my God, this is a discovery from almost 2,000 years ago. Unfortunately, we have less orgies nowadays and more war. Think about it.
If only that boat would have survived, it would have taught us a different way.
It's where the other part of the Rosetta Stone was. Stone. Not stone.
Okay, and that's it for
And
today.
that's all.
Here, we're going to turn the lights off because it's orgy time.
All right, so let's get to the shill stuff.
Yeah, chill.
Give us 5.
We had to load. Sorry, when you're in an orgy, sometimes it takes you a minute to get back to to shilling.
We were half cocked.
Speed. We weren't ready for the shill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, baby. I swear this never happens.
Wipe the sweat from my
I usually
brow.
have my shill ready.
All right. Give us 5 stars on iTunes if you think we're worth it. Even if we're not worth it, just give it to us anyway because it doesn't matter.
Give us 5.
Orgies. That was easy.
Give us 5 baby throwing cliffs orgies.
Wow. Baby Throwing Cliffs Orgies. That's like a good
Off
band
cliff.
name. Baby Throwing Cliffs Orgies.
Good song by a good band.
Yeah, I don't know about the band name. Maybe album title
Maybe. It'd be a push.
or maybe even record label. I don't know.
Maybe the secret album that's after like 20 minutes.
If you're listening but you like watching, we're on YouTube and like that's a place to do that. You can judge our appearances and say horrible things about us and drive one of us to suicide, which is what the internet mob likes to do. So,
Which will be David. Give us 5 post-nut.
Post nut.
God damn it. You got that.
follow us on the social media platforms, Instagram and Twitter.
You've heard of them.
We're active there. We post full episodes on IGTV, which is a thing. I don't know if you know that, but it is.
Check up our
they know.
Pornhub account with our orgy videos.
They know.
And word of mouth is the best advertising that we can get. I want to build our following through grassroots, not through stupid, bullshit, fake advertising. So, if you like this and you want to support it, just tell people about us. That's the best way.
If you want to give us real advertising and just give us money, we won't sign our souls away, but feel free.
You can email us at historichole@gmail.com with any questions or scams or
Coupons.
inappropriate pictures or
Coupons. Oil change coupons. That's what we asked for is oil change coupons.
death threats. That's a fun place to get death threats.
Yes, I always prefer to read my death threats.
Yeah, I don't like to hear them, but reading them is very much.
It's fun as shit.
And
Pick
so,
out the grammatical errors.
Someone can give it to me in Morse code.
this week our statement of modernity is, life is like an orgy. Try not to get too wet.
What?
Okay, let me try that one again.
Come on. Try to get too wet. Yeah, I kind of like it. No, you should leave both.
Hold on. I got a better one. All right. Let's reset. All right. So we usually do a statement of modernity at the end of every episode, and this week is life is like an orgy. Try not to get covered in semen.
That's funny.
fistful of holes. Enter wisely.
Goodbye.
Wrap it up.